Dustin Tibbitts, financial advisor with Jazz Wealth Managers. Look, I've been a little under the weather. I just came into the office real quick to just make a quick video here for you guys, and it's actually a bit of an audio video. I was interviewed on Josh Scanlon's podcast with Heritage Wealth Planning, and so I thought I'd just put that podcast up. If you enjoy listening to podcasts, you'll enjoy this one. He did a great interview of us here at Jazz Wealth, and thanks again, Josh. I'll put his information up as well, and enjoy.
No problem. Yeah, actually where it all kind of started for me was my dad was a futures trader way back before you used to point and click. He was the scream and shout guy, and it just, it was so interesting to me what he did. I had no idea what he was doing, but it was so interesting that I kind of started paying attention. And he would just tell me, no, you can't be in this business. You're not allowed to. I wouldn't let my family go down this road. And it was always, sometimes Christmas was great. You get every toy you ever wished for, and sometimes it seemed like Christmas never happened. He would just try to pretend it wasn't Christmas, it was some other day.
Right.
So I watched him through his ups and downs, and that's how I knew I was interested, from there. But,
right.
He wouldn't give me any money or anything. So it became this sort of long road to getting into doing it for myself, learning the hard way, making all the mistakes, and thinking you're a hero when you're really not, and getting smacked back down and all that. You've been there. So
how'd you end up with the name Jazz? I mean, because you said in your video that even your printing shop was called Jazz Printing as well. Where's the
actually
name?
It was Jazz Printing. My last dog's name was Jazz. The new business name is Jazz. I just, a couple things. I enjoy the jazz music, for the most part, from all the way back, from the old, all the way up to nowadays, the sort of the newer guys. But what really what grabbed my attention about that was a jazz musician is never, a stiff kind of person. He's always the sort of quirky one with the funny quotes and sort of laid back, and you have to be laid back to be, that good at what you're doing. And those guys are obviously some of the most skilled musicians out there.
Right.
And it just always, I thought, man, these guys are so good, and they're just not arrogant. They're just having a good time, always laughing. And I thought if I could portray that as a business, like, we're here, we want to help you, we're having a good time, take us seriously, but we're good at what we do, and we're just trying to be relaxed about it. That's why you never see me wear a suit and tie, and I just don't get dressed up. Actually, I met with another guy from Jacksonville last week, and we showed up. He was in the suit and tie, and I had my flip-flops on and my Jazz softball shirt on. And he's like, "Oh, you don't ever get dressed up, do you?" I'm like, "No, man. It's intimidating people."
Oh man, that is funny. That's interesting. You said about the jazz, the history of the music there. I was listening to a podcast by James Altucher. I don't know if you ever heard of that guy. He interviewed. Yeah, Marcel, whoever it is, Winston, I think, the younger guy of the two. I'm not all that familiar with jazz, but, man, you said almost identical to what that guy was saying about the music and just being nimble and not getting too caught up in the, dude, what you just said there was spot on what that guy said is fun. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, then same with that Wynton Marsalis. I got to meet him at the Lincoln Center. They do shows there, I believe, every Friday still. And that guy, to me, I mean, he's at the height of his career, and yet he's just telling jokes, and he's hanging out and having a good time. The only thing that was missing was like an old smoky bar with scotch everywhere and stuff. It was just so cool, laid back, and I want to keep that. I want to keep that sort of personality.
That's I love that story. I think in our business, and I've been in the business for over 20 years, and I cut my teeth at Vanguard. Long story short, I've had to wear the suits and all that, and I hate it, man. I've always had no personality. One of the things I love about you and what you're doing on your YouTube and, obviously in your business, and man, it's just, you're bringing a different, it's just, there's no independent thought in this business, and seeing what you do is just, it's awesome, man. I mean, I tell you, you don't need to be a suit and tie guy to help people. And I love it, man. That's one of the reasons I want to talk to you. Hey, so how long, you've been, so your dad you're not from Florida originally, or are you? I know that's where you are now, but where are you from originally?
I'm from Texas originally. That's where I was born, spent the first part of my life. Came to Florida with my dad. My dad actually, so he was a lumber futures trader, and what he ended up doing, yeah, right? He ended up working for lumber companies, the guys that would sell, trains and truckloads to Home Depot and Scotty's and Lumber Builder Square and things like that. So he got into doing that, but still trading futures on the side. So we would just move, as he moved to company and landed in Florida.
Gotcha. And so so you started the printing, and folks, I'll put the link to Jazz's YouTube video on, how he came to be in Jazz Wells, the start in the printing business and all that. Did you have clients, Dustin, when you started the financial planning firm? Did you have clients? You said, I know you said in your video that people were going to you, like your uncle, I think. But that's a pretty big move, man. When did you just said, "Hey, I'm setting up a shingle and let's go"? How did that transition go for you, running a successful printing shop?
Well, actually, so when I had the printing company, the goal was to sell that, make some money, and then go be a trader. I was going to be just like my dad. So that's what I did. I actually did that for a couple of years, and the company that I was working at was paying attention to everybody's accounts, just like everybody does at all these big brokerage firms. And I guess they noticed I was doing well. They started asking me to teach their customers how to, help them so they didn't sort of burn out and lose all their money. I did that for a while, actually, and that was another sort of environment that allowed me to be who I wanted to be, and I got to show people how to trade, and I would do these live classes with people in China in the middle of the night and things like that. And that's when, over time, people started saying, "You just do it. I don't want to do it. You do it." And I said, well, maybe there's something there. So the company I work for allowed me to sort of take these people on little by little, knowing eventually I was going to move on. And oddly enough, I just talked to that guy today. From the last time I met there, he's actually was calling asking for advice. I thought, well, that's cool. He's asking me for help now.
Now, has this guy been following you on YouTube, your progression as a financial advisor and an entrepreneur, or has he just said, I knew this guy from a while back, I want to look him up, or has he just been following you and said, I need some help, and I know this guy knows what he's doing?
Yeah, what happened is when I started finding that the younger beginner needed help with this, finance and retirement or anything in general, I initially told them, why don't we start a little side business? Now, these guys were much bigger than I could have possibly been. And they said, well, let's look at it. We had a lot of meetings. They wanted nothing to do with it because they said, there's no money in it. We can't do it.
Right.
And I kept pushing the idea. I'm like, look, but eventually these people will grow. So they didn't want to do it. Well, oddly enough, now they are trying to come into this space a little bit with their own offering. And they were calling me asking for advice on function and sort of how accounts are opened and things, and I thought, wow, now you guys want in. So that's all good.
The water's warm for sure, but still, it's funny how no one, I remember just a couple of years ago, it was like, you can't service that group of people because they don't have any assets. Like you said, okay, and then what are we doing? I hate to say it, but why are we in the business if we can't serve people? That doesn't make any sense. I think it was good timing for me because at that time in my life, I was one of those people that wasn't getting the advice. I couldn't go to a bigger company. So for me, it was personally insulting. Now I'm like, I can do the same thing for these people. And so that was kind of my motivation. I was at that point. That's what I was getting ready to ask. It was the epiphany where you said, I want to help these people. So that was basically because you said no one was going to serve you. And there's 8 million other people just like you out there that are being neglected. No other way around that. And that's
you got it. And that's the biggest compliment I get all the time from clients is that they just call and ask a random question, and mainly just to get a second pair of eyes or get a second opinion. And that's the biggest compliment I get is, I had to spend hours on YouTube, or I can't call Raymond James or any of these big companies. They don't do that. It's because they don't make any money. You got to pay for those big buildings somehow,
Well, let me ask you a question on that, just not to get too deep in your personal opinion, but you did have a pretty good video yesterday, maybe it was 2 days ago, about Wells Fargo, freaking snakes. So just does it kind of piss you off about not Wells Fargo specifically, but just it's like you have all these highfalutin wannabes, and yet you got this huge market of just regular Joes that for some reason no one wants to talk to. Doesn't it kind of just tick you off? It does to me, and I'm not trying to be holier than thou, and, oh my goodness, I know somebody, but at the end of the day, it's like, what has the industry done if we can't serve the vast majority of people? I don't get it. I'll get off my diatribe. But any opinion or thought on that?
It's crazy. I actually just left a conference where the clearing firm that all of these bigger companies that use, not like the big banks, but the other brokerages that they use, that we're talking about the amount of money that they're spending trying to acquire the younger client. And it's like, it's never going to be worth it for them. They will always spend more, or they have been spending more than it's worth to acquire. And the numbers are astronomical, and it just makes you wonder, like, if you guys would just focus on doing the right thing for this audience, they'll come around. These people will all grow, and they're out there, and I'm never going to be that next, the robo-advisors and the big guys out there. I'm not trying to do that, but I'll help who I can. It just feels right. You're doing the right thing, and we're not sneaking in all this crazy garbage with the random fees and stuff. I think people are pretty much over that.
I hope so. A couple of years ago, I read an article. Some guy, I forgot what bank, one of the big, banker investment. I can't remember. He died, and God bless and all that. But his obituary was his firm that he had founded or brought to life the managed accounts, and his not literally, on his tombstone for the firm was essentially, look how much money he brought to the company. And I was like, I don't want to go, I'm not sure, I don't know who the guy, I can't remember his name. I just remember reading this. I said, I don't think that's the way the industry was meant to be. Like, look how much money he brought to the company because he invented the managed account. And then on top, like what your episode with Wells Fargo, are they really doing that, man? I mean, they're friggin' putting people from their 401k who leave into their own crappy stuff.
I've had numerous conversations, because I'll tell a client, yes, just call Wells Fargo. You can now roll over your account. You're all set up here. And they call back and they go, listen, they had a pretty good, sales pitch about these loaded mutual funds. And I'm like, are you joking? Like, I can show you all of this. I mean, there's a million ways to make a buck. That's fine. But to pressure people into doing this, that really frustrated me. And again, that wasn't my opinion. That was straight from the Department of Labor. That's their investigation. It was just very frustrating.
I thought all that stuff was, like you said in your video,
supposed to be.
If Wells Fargo's doing it, that's what's scary to us. And I mean, how many other? Look, I've had lots of good people in this business help me along the way. I'm not one of these guys who think they're all snakes, but I mean, my goodness, if Wells is doing it, and they're the big guy who's already under the microscope, how many other folks out there are doing the same thing? That's what's scary. You know what I mean? Yeah.
No, I don't. You almost don't want to know what's under the curtain, but it's just a matter of going back and doing the right thing, like you do, and what I'm trying to do. And it's funny. I run these ads locally, just for other advisors that want to kind of team up and do the same thing, and every one of them responds back with the amount of money they've made for their firm and with how they went about it and so many sales. And I'm like, it's a different mentality. I want you guys to make money, but we don't need to go about it like that. It's like the guy that goes around bragging about all the women he's been with.
That's right.
We don't need to know that, just let's go a different way about it.
Man, exactly. The fact you're bringing that up, I think I'm going to go in a different direction there. Because
there you go.
So you have employees? I mean, I know your mom, she works, does kind of I don't want to say marketing, but she's the person I talked to, or I emailed to get this interview.
No, that's Carolyn. We just call her Mama Jazz. That's not my mom.
Gotcha.
That's Carolyn. She's the kind of overseas. I'll tell you thought that was the case, though. But no, so we got her. There's 6 of us now, but she's kind of like, she's been here since day one. So any dollars, any transaction, anything we're thinking about doing, she knows, and she's been great as far as saying, hey, here's where we're at. You know what the future holds, how we need to adjust and sort of adapt. Any normal business growth pains, she's been right on top of it. She's been great.
So you got 6 employees, Dustin.
We're there, yeah.
Oh, man.
That's fun. A lot of people say that, but I do this intentionally. I try to make it so that, like I said, when you see me on YouTube, you think it's only me. And then when people schedule a call, it's always with me. And then the person managing their account is always me. So I have my own group of customers, and I like that. I like people to think like I'm the only guy here, and instead of trying to say, we're a big company, look at all our, who cares?
When you start out with, I mean, just you presumably, right? and then you started knocking on the door. How'd you build up the business? I mean, I know you said you got a lady calling from Hawaii and all that, but before that, how were you getting your initial client base and stuff?
Well, lucky for me, I live in Florida, so there are a lot of retirees and stuff. I didn't initially want to start working with that demographic. I don't think I could provide them the best service. That I don't know enough about their life. It makes sense. If you're of a certain age, you've had the experience, So I started with getting in a little bit into that, but very quickly came back to, okay, I'm going to take the long road. I don't care if it takes 10 years to build up a great sort of group of people. I'm going to go with the people I can work with, help the most. And, maybe it means there's going to be a few more customers, but we'll all grow over time. And what's the guy there's a social media guy that everybody loves right now, Gary Vaynerchuk. Yeah, Vaynerchuk. And he's always talking about playing the long game. I haven't watched him in a while, but I buy into that. I don't need to do anything overnight or sell something overnight. I don't think any business needs to. Do the right thing over time, and then you've got your right group of people. So
that's interesting. So you started. It's funny because I just started my own RIA 2 months ago. Cool. Yeah, it's my third month now. And it's funny. I was just listening to a guy on a podcast today, and he was talking about how he had to change his niche a couple different times. And I always thought, I'm going to help these people. And now I'm like, well, not so. It's just funny how you said that. Initially, there's a lot of the retirees, and you start saying, that's not where you do your best work, I guess. And I'm just putting that word in your mouth, and you kind of change your focus. So it's obviously you can still be successful even if you change your focus after getting started. But it's just ironic that you said that, Dustin, because I was just literally thinking that today. I was like, I'm not sure that's quite what I thought I'd like, because I want to enjoy what I do. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to go to work. One thing about working for, I don't know if you ever worked for a big financial firm, but you can't do what you want to do. You do what they tell you to. I mean, they're the master, the slave, and that's fine. You signed up, but the problem is that it sucks, man. So when you go on your own, you don't have the shackle, but at the same time, you also got to get consistency and a little bit of just a focus, and that's my hard part. Do you have a hard time just focusing on your day-to-day? Like, what's a day for Dustin consist of? I mean, meeting people, you're calling people, you're doing your YouTubes. I mean, tell me, like, what do you do during the day, man?
Well, lucky for us, we the market doesn't really get moving until 9:30, so I've always enjoyed those hours. So my day really doesn't start till about 9 o'clock. I'll work as late as you want me to, but I'm not getting up early for anything because it's not my style. But morning time is basically just getting all caught up with everything, making sure everybody that's going to post something for us or has got anything going out socially is, obviously it's acceptable and above board. For every regulation we have to follow on the planet. So we do a lot of that, and then it's just prep. Right now we're actually working on, I'm making just a library of classes that cover everything from credit scores, budgeting, debts, student loans. I mean, exactly what to do for every single thing. No, not my opinion, but specific fact. How much exactly do you spend on a house, and be able to give someone that exact answer? So we're putting that together for all the clients. So lately, if I have a spare moment, the camera goes on and I'm just recording something that we're doing for the next class. That's been most of our times, but we're trying to think up a lot of cool things. We have a couple of pretty interesting ideas for how to make this even better going forward, and we're experimenting. So right now it's just a lot of talking, throwing ideas out there, letting something hit the wall and see how long it holds up before we throw it away or go with it.
Do you have a lot of meetings with clients, in person, just mostly video over the phone, or how do you meet with your actual clients?
Yeah, no, actually, no. There's only one client that actually is very close to where I live, and I'll meet with him. But other than that, I no real client meetings in the office. Actually, the next phase is to sort of expand. We've already started it, but sort of expand into something really interesting. We're actually going to fill up a warehouse space and make it like a TV show where every day is about finance, it's about budgeting, but not in the sort of traditional, let me sit and tell you how to spend your money. It's going to be from, a fun perspective. Like, I'm getting a zip line. That was my only requirement was I want a zip line in the office, and just stuff like that to further drive the point home.
Dude,
let's chill. Let's just relax about this. We're going to make the right decisions with our money, our finance, and everything. But I want like a centralized sort of hub where if people do want to come by and hang out, there's a reason for it. We'll have a good time.
You got kids by chance? And there's the reason I'm asking that.
I do. I have just the one.
Is your boy or girl?
It's a girl, yeah.
Okay, because I have 4, and my 2 sons are into the show on, I'm not even sure what channel. It's called Dude Perfect. You ever heard of Dude Perfect?
Amen. That is the guy that I talked to today. I believe it or not, this idea is going to require quite a bit of capital, and I thought maybe someone will give me some money for this. So the guy that I talked to today, I said, have you ever heard of Dude Perfect? And he goes, yeah, I've heard of them.
No way.
And I said, it's going to be like that, only a lot smaller, because they got a big space. A lot smaller, and we just want to base it on money, like a soft way to sell the idea of money. So, yeah, you nailed it. You nailed it.
When the man was saying that, I said, man, that sounds like Dude Perfect. And given that I guess you haven't lived in Texas for a while, but they're in Texas. My wife and my 2 kids just went by the place they have. They weren't able to get inside because I think it's Sunday or something like that. But I was like, man, we watched that show religiously. It's awesome. I was thinking just what you're saying, Dust. Is that, man, that's
it.
Man, and not only that, so you think about it. You got a husband, wife, or whatever, married couple, whatever. They got their 2 kids sitting there. They're stressed out about money. And then here comes Dustin Tibbitts and, Jazz Wells and having fun and saying, look, yeah, money can be stressful, but my God, don't let it friggin' ruin your marriage, for heaven's sake. Let's make this not a game so much, but let's make it entertaining so we can freaking live life. I think it's man, I love it.
Exactly. Awesome. You nailed it. And that's I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, you go. It's fine.
No, I was going to say that's one of the things that I come across is every conversation starts with people being intimidated. And oddly enough, it's weird. People go, as soon as I say it's me from the videos, they're like, oh God, no, wait, I wasn't ready. I didn't know I was going to talk to you. That shocks me. Like some random guy uploads videos and you think he's somebody. I always knock that down right away. But the first, most people call and they're intimidated because they've been taught to be scared about money. Don't talk about your money. All this stuff. And that's the first thing I like to strip away. And what a better way to do that than to have an environment that just looks relaxed. It's not stuffy. It's just relaxed.
Man, I cannot agree. Man, that is so spot on, man. I tell you, just the idea. You think about, just some younger guy. I'm 47, and just, but still, he's a man. He's kind of nervous about talking to another man about his money issues. He's like, I don't know, and then he goes and got this stuffy 3-piece suit guy. No one wears 3-piece suits anymore, but you know what I'm talking about. And he's like, the guy's talking down to him, and he's like, I wonder if you're going to take me. I mean, it's just such a bad feeling. I love what you said.
Yep.
I can almost guarantee, Dustin, 5 years from now, there'll be so many people following your foot. That's just awesome. It's fantastic.
Well, we'll see. I know it's not something I would ever do. There's no way I would ever go. And there's an office on my way home. There's an office that has glass wall. I think it's Chase, to be honest with you. They've got the glass walls. And all it is a big intimidating desk, and it's the same little guy I see every day. And I'm like, there's no way I would sit in that room. I would feel like I was at the worst car dealership on the planet. Got to change that. Got to change it.
Well, I don't know if you, Wells Fargo used to be Wachovia, and before that was First Union Bank, and they used to have a commercial, like in the late 90s, that if you can't come to the mountain, we'll bring the mountain to you. And I always said, man, who the hell?
Nice.
You want to intimidate the hell out of your just average Joe client. We dump this mountain on your head. I always said that who's going to want to go and have the mountain come to them? That sounds like, ugh.
Yeah, one of my favorite things to do, by the way, is someone calls, we talk to them, and they'll say, all right, we're considering using you. And my favorite one is when they go, but you know what? I was talking to this guy at Chase, and we may go down there and work with him. I always say, great. Let me know what he says. I'm here for you if you need anything. I always get the call back especially from Chase, where people go, the first thing that guy asked me, how much money do you have?
Yeah,
that's all he cared about. And that's like, that's the business. I mean, it's an eye-opener, but that's what it is.
Any recommendations for, not a new guy in the business, but a new guy in his firm? I mean, if you had to give advice to a guy who's interviewing on your phone, I'm just saying, what do you think about I mean, just anything. I mean, I'm a sponge when it comes to this stuff. I can tell you're creative, you're entrepreneurial, you're good, obviously a good guy, but just anything that you said, man, I would do this 1 or 2 things. Does anything jumps out at you as I build my own business?
You're saying, what would I say to somebody that's saying that?
Yeah, or just me. What would you say?
Oh.
Hey, man, these are the things I would be doing if I were, I mean, it doesn't, look, it's not rocket science at the end of the day. Anything that jumps out at you that says, you might want to think about this or do that or anything?
Well, yeah, obviously, we're limited. You know, being in our profession, there's certain things. There have been videos I've had to take down because compliance would call and say, no, idiot, take it down. You can't say that.
Really?
So I've learned over time. There's some things I know I definitely can't say, but, you know, of course, we're limited and all the regulations changing. You can't just go post anything you want whenever you want. And that's a shame, but they're coming around little by little. My biggest thing, and it's been really tough for me, I'll be honest, is to just be you and realize that some people aren't going to like that. And I don't like that. I don't like when people don't like me. It used to really bother me, but I forget who said it, but somebody said one time, look, if you want to be the president, you got to get half the people on the planet to hate you. So if you want to build a good business, don't worry about the people that hate you. And that for me means, you know what, I wear the shirt that I feel like wearing. Yeah, it's a promotion, I get it, but it's comfortable. And I'm just going to put what I have to offer out there. It's up to the person to see it, if it's helpful, if it's a good value. If not, I can't help everybody, you know.
Are you, I mean, amazed at your YouTube channel? I mean, you got, you know, hell, thousands and thousands of subscribers now, Dustin. Are you like, whoa, I mean, are you shocked? Or I don't know if this was anticipated. I mean, but man, you're getting, how many, I don't know, I'd be like 15,000, so I can't remember. I looked at it, but I forgot now. But thousands and thousands of people who subscribe to your stuff. It's amazing.
But really, it blows me away. I remember thinking, when you sign up, you know, you do your whole thing, and I remember you had to get to 100 subscribers in order to have a custom URL.
Right.
And I had like 6 because I asked my mom to click. My mom like had to start a Gmail account just to sign up. So that was that. And then when YouTube lowered it, I think they lowered it to 40 subscribers to get your custom URL. Like, I was so excited when I hit that number just to put Jazz Wealth at the end of it. And then it was just been like nonstop. I mean, I made a New Year's resolution last year on the 1st to just make a video a day. And I said, well, let's just see what happens. And yeah, I'm shocked. I'm more shocked when people call, you know, and they do that thing where they're like, oh my God, I didn't realize I was talking to the guy on the videos. Blows me away. Like, I get nervous all of a sudden. So if you're listening and you call, it's going to be me that answers. Don't make me nervous.
Oh, man, that is awesome. I know, because like you said, you're just some dude, and you start doing a YouTube thing, and next thing you know, I can't believe I'm talking to Dustin. I thought I'd be talking to an idiot or something like that. I don't know. That's awesome, man.
It's funny, though, because if I ever met the dude perfect, guys, I'd be pretty intimidated. You know? It's weird.
That's good. Yeah. Well, especially some of the guys they get. You know, they got, the guy from the Cowboys is the
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It's a never-ending circle because you know they were nervous with him.
Yes, right.
And
I guarantee
just because he's on a bigger platform, you know. It's incredible how that works. Yeah.
Hey, man, I appreciate your time. I don't want to keep you up all night, but this is awesome. Dustin, just anything you want to share with the folks who listen about how they get a hold of you, anything, you know, I'll put the link to your YouTube channel, but anything else that any listeners want to, if they want to know more about you?
Yeah, our biggest thing is just jazzwealth.com. If it's something you want to talk with Jazz, I will be the one to call when you schedule the time, so be ready for it.
And all I gotta say is, I had my first comment I put on your YouTube thing was I said about, hey, good job on your 401k thing, because like I said, no one else was talking about that. And I said, this is, you know, there's a value here that people need to hear about. It doesn't mean they have to do it, but, and you actually respond back. You said, hey, you know, when I said, hey, we were probably somewhat competitors, and you're like, we don't have to be. It's all cool. And I just appreciate that, man. There's a lot of, like I said, there's a lot of good guys in our business and ladies too. But it's always nice to come across a guy who's a fellow traveler trying to do good work for his clients. At the same time, we all got to get paid. Everybody knows that. No client assumes you work for free unless I get to you don't disclose stuff, which many firms do, it seems. But anyway, I just wanted to, I appreciate that you emailed me, well, not email, but posted back, and it's good, man. You're a good guy, Dustin, and I absolutely appreciate you taking time every day. And, hey, man, we'll cross paths in the future for sure, and just keep posting videos, man. It's a big help to people. Me too, absolutely, so I appreciate it.
No problem. I appreciate you having me, man. It's been interesting. You can tell you definitely have the energy